Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA. In today's real user review, we're going to be taking a look at the Level 8 Reboot pack. Now, Level 8 did send me this pack for free to review and test out, but all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I'm not being paid or endorsed anything positive or negative about this pack. Level 8 will see this video when you do. They do not get a preview of this video prior to publication. And now that the disclaimer is out of the way, let's go ahead and do a quick spec rundown. The Reboot comes in at $119 USD. The bag comes in at 27 liters. It fits up to a 17-inch laptop. It features a shoe compartment, a water-repellent external material, and all of your buckles are fidlocks. Okay, and now the reason that you stopped on by for the real user review. And as always, we're going to start with the negative points. And the biggest negative that I found on this pack is actually the sternum strap right here. This little hook right here is a pretty annoying little bugger. This little guy gets caught on everything. Pockets, sleeves, anything loose in your vicinity. Whenever you're slinging the bag on, this little guy gets caught on just about everything, and then you're trying to figure out what you're caught on and how to get yourself untangled. I have adjusted him up and down to see if maybe that would make a difference, and honestly it doesn't. It just gets caught on everything. So while I appreciate that it is fidlock and I like the design of it, it's actually a pretty terrible design to have on a backpack, because it's just a hook, literally a hook that gets caught on just about everything when you're trying to put the pack on your back. The next is how narrow the bag gets up top here. Now, I've said this in roll tops before, there's basically three different designs. A roll top that is just a big tube that is just the same dimensions all the way up and down, a roll top that actually flares out at the top, and then one like this that tapers. And that makes getting down into it a lot harder. I can still see down and access the bag, and yes, the bag has its side access. You can peel the front down, so I can do this to make it much easier. But if I'm trying to quickly see or grab something, it's really hard to look down into the bag and see anything with the roll top totally exposed. And then the zippers, you can only unzip them to about this seam here, because that is your fold point. So I can still see pretty good in there, but I would like them to come down to about where the top of the admin little pocket starts. I think that would just give me a little bit more flip, but because that's where you don't get a good fold point, that's where the zipper starts for both the internal and external pocket, and you don't have a good fold point. It doesn't naturally just lay, so the natural fold point is right here at this seam. So we do have this taper design here that does kind of get in the way and inhibit quick access to the pack. Another negative point is this admin pocket right here, namely this corner. Because these are AquaGuard zippers, they do tend to stick, and around bends, it's really bad. And this bend kind of folds up a little bit, and if you go really slow, it generally opens and accesses no problem. But when you're in a hurry and you're trying to zip it quick, of course now that I'm filming it works, but for me generally when I'm trying to unzip this really quick, I get hung up here. Now it seems to be working fine, but there, see, it kind of hung up and it pulled it right out of my hand. It doesn't stick all the time, obviously. Murphy's Law, because I'm filming, it works completely fine. But prior to me turning the cameras on, I was getting hung up in this corner almost every single time, because you don't generally go really slow. That was never a problem. It was when I was there, see, it hung up. That's generally what happens to me almost every single time when I'm trying to access this pocket to get like my pen. And of course when the camera's not rolling, it gets hung up just about every single time. And honestly, that's about it for the negatives. We have our biggest one being our fidlock with the hook, because we get caught on everything. Our narrow top of our roll top, our lack of a good fold point, and our admin pocket. Other than that, everything else I'm going to talk about is going to be a neutral point, and one of those is it's going to be what you're looking at right now, the main fabric of the bag. It does have this nice diamond pattern that looks like a VX material, but it's not VX. I have reached out to Level 8, both through the customer service and my contact, and neither of them have gotten back to me to tell me what it actually is made out of. It feels more like I don't want to say plasticky. It's not quite rubbery, but it does feel, it's definitely not a VX, but it does feel like it. I haven't had it in a downpour. I've had it in some rain, and it did shed the water pretty nicely, but it definitely feels weird. I don't want to say, again, I don't want to say plasticky, but it does feel kind of plasticky, but I don't know what it's made out of, so I don't know longevity wise how it's going to hold up over time. I would like a definitive answer of what the material is made out of, so if I do get that.
The bag is apparently made from a polyester fiber and PU synthetic leather. They just got back to me.
It feels okay. It's not like, by no means, it's not like the worst fabric I've ever felt on a bag in my life, but not knowing what it is, I'd be curious to know how long the bag is going to last. I mean, I've had no problems with it. It's actually been quite surprising at how comfortable and how comfortable it's been to wear, and actually how usable it is. Some of the things I thought were going to be an issue actually were not an issue with it, but I would like to know exactly what this material is.
PU synthetic leather.
Another neutral point is the shoe garage. Because I never used it, I don't know how well it's going to work, but you can see that it does crumple up really nice, and it fits into its own little compartment here at the bottom, and that zipper works just fine. So it does lay pretty flat when you're using this as an EDC pack, so it doesn't inhibit the use of the bag. The material has this like plasticky feel to it, so I don't know how it would work over time if you put some stinky shoes in here, but that's why I put it to the neutral points, because I didn't use the pocket as a shoe compartment, but it compresses down nice and small, so you don't even know it's there if you're using the bag as an EDC. And now we're gonna go ahead and move into the positives. And the main positive of this bag was, it was actually a lot more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. Now, these shoulder straps have like something rigid, like a frame sheet inside of these straps, and I thought that would be at least a neutral point because it would make them a little uncomfortable, but honestly I didn't notice it at all. They were actually really comfortable. They have a fair amount of padding in there. The foam isn't super dense, but they're actually really comfortable to wear, as well as the back panel. It's not the most dense foam that I've ever had on a back panel, but it actually felt really good against the back. And because it's getting warm out, I have been losing some of the heavier layers, and I have worn this with just like a t-shirt or a button-down shirt, so I've gotten the full feel of the pack, and it was actually pretty comfortable, as well as the overall usability. It was definitely better than I expected that it was going to be. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised once I started putting the bag into use. And then the main positive, for me at least, was the laptop sleeve. Now the bag states it can fit up to a 17-inch laptop, which I do not have, but I do happen to have 3 varying sizes of 15-inch laptops. It absolutely swallows my 15-inch MacBook Pro. Then I have this 15-inch Acer laptop that's actually kind of wide, that also fits in here no problem, with plenty of room to spare. And then I also have this monster of a Dell Inspiron laptop that is thick and is long and it is bulky. Even though it's only a 15-inch laptop, it is huge and it does not fit in most bags, and this thing swallows it. The next positive is this grab handle. I found it to be pretty comfortable. Now, it's not really padded, but it is a little bit thicker. It actually feels like there is a second piece of webbing inside the hollowness of this webbing, so it does give it a little bit of a form to it and a little bit depth, and it makes it a little squishy, but it's not padded per se, but it felt really good in the hand, especially in my beat up, chewed up, dried, cracked hands. It was comfortable to wear or to use and grab. I liked it a lot. There's enough slack in here, and it was good for a pass over the bag, and it definitely held the weight of the bag just fine. And now we're going to talk about the organization and layout of the pack. Now, I had a few issues with it, but it actually, again, it worked out pretty well, much better than I had originally anticipated being. So we're just going to kind of pull my EDC out so you can see how I have this bag loaded. And we're going to start right here with the top zipper pocket, where I keep my work badge. I throw that in there every single day when I'm done with work, and I pull it out when I go to work, and then I keep my boo-boo kit right in there, because you always need quick access to the Band-Aids when your daughter needs one, whether she has a cut or not. So all that stuff goes right in there. and it fits quite nicely. Now, I have my side access over here that I had originally intended to keep a notebook in here for quick access, but I ended up sticking a pouch in here. But because this has its own depth here, you can kind of see there's a gusset on this side. It actually expands outward, so this ended up fitting in here a little bit better than it did on the inside of the bag. And this is just like some supplemental first aid stuff. This has like your ibuprofen, cortisone creams and stuff like that inside it. So this is just like a daily meds pack more than like a first aid kit. And that's something I do need kind of often, especially with these dry, cracked hands. I've been putting some cortisone cream on them quite a bit, so I've been reaching for this often. So having this on the outside was really good. And it actually fit in here really nicely because it has just about the perfect amount of expandable space in there. Now, my main way of accessing the internal of the bag is if I don't need something top down real quick, I will just unzip one side of it and peel it to the side, so I can easily access my admin pouch. I can get my tablet pouch. I can get my toolkit. I can easily access all this stuff. I could completely unzip and peel back and have access to all of these things, but I've generally been accessing by unzipping one side. Now, when I want to get into my pouches on the inside, yeah, I'll totally unzip it. It just makes getting them easier. I could tell by feel which one is which when you're sticking them in, because you have this little Durastretch pocket on the back of the sardine tin that you don't have on the back of the pocketbook slim. So if I'm fiddling around, I could tell which one my sardine tin is, again, by the back of it. They're both EPX 400, so the front of it feels identical, but we have an EPX 400 pocket or a Durastretch pocket, so I can't tell if I'm reaching in there, but generally I have been folding the whole flap down if I needed one of those bags. So my general access, again for the main compartment, would be like this, and usually I have it leaning against the wall at work, so I can kind of see down into it a little bit better, and I can kind of grab what I need. The admin pocket is easily accessible. There we go. Admin pocket is easily accessible with the bag folded over. The strap does not get in the way at all, so you don't really have to worry about this because you do have a little bit of strap mitigation here. You can see it was slid up, so I did have a little extra tail dangling, but it didn't get in the way of the pocket opening or closing in any way, shape, or form. So I can access this. And there I have a pen that I grab quite often. I put it here so I can slide it on. I can find it easier instead of digging around. I had my pen in this pocket here, but I had to dig for it, and then I realized I can just kind of clip it to the side and it's fine. And this is just some extra masks that I carry around all the time. Don't really need it, but I like to have it on me, and it fits in here no problem. Tuck a little piece of paracord in, that zips no problem. And then, you know, your laptop access, which is pretty self-explanatory. And this laptop sleeve, it's padded both back and front, so you're protected from the main body of the bag, and you know, you have your back padding from the back side, but we're not floating, and there's only a little bit of padding on the bottom. So if you were going to use this bag as your everyday EDC, as being like your only bag, I would take a piece of foam or even like a towel or something and just roll it up and stick it at the bottom of the bag, so you have just a little bit extra padding. Overall, final summation, what do I think of the bag? And honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised with it. It functioned and it felt a lot better than I thought it was going to. I honestly thought that this bag was going to be so-so, but I'm surprised. It actually worked out a lot better than I thought. So the $120 price point might be a little bit high just because I don't know what these materials are made out of. I think it's more like an $80 to $100 price point all day long. Overall though, the bag, it felt really good. It wore really well. It was a lot more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. It functioned a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So honestly, if you can find one of these used for like, you know, 60, 80 bucks, I'd say jump on it. It's actually a pretty good pack. If you're interested in it, I'd say maybe wait a little bit. Level 8 often has some of these things on sale, so you might be able to get it for around the $100 price point. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the bag it worked. I like the profile, I like the look of the bag. I do like the aesthetic of it and everything, so it does look really nice. And again, it functioned much better than I originally thought it was going to be. I like that it's got some nice subtle branding. There's not a huge label or huge embroidery on it. So yeah, maybe $100 price point's the better price point for the pack. But other than that, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the bag. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.